We're here in a new city. Bucharest, Romania. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Bucharest. Bucharest, Romania. That's right. We're here in a new city. City of Bucharest, Romania. And we are here right now in Piața Universitate. Piața Universitate. University Plaza. And today, for our first video here in Bucharest, I want to explore a little bit around this area. Down that way is the neighborhood of Old Town, Old Bucharest. That's what I'd like to check out today. So come along. Thanks for clicking on the video. If you want to help out the channel and help it grow, I really would appreciate it. Click on the like button down there, the subscribe button, and the little bell next to it to be notified for when new videos drop. It really helps the channel grow because it's going to help the YouTube algorithm recognize this content and spread it to other YouTube viewers. If you'd like to support the channel monetarily, I would appreciate that as well. You can leave a super thanks by clicking this thanks button here and give a small donation to the channel. I appreciate your support. So back to the video. Enjoy. It was a little difficult for me to pick out exactly where I wanted to do this first video from here in Bucharest. If you've watched this channel before, you know most of the time I'll go to whatever the central plaza is for any city that we're visiting, right? The center, usually like an old historic center. We'll go to that place and we'll make a little video just around that area, just a little taste of what we're going to be doing for the rest of the time, the rest of the videos that we're making from a certain city. But Bucharest doesn't really work like that. It's kind of weird. Bucharest is a gigantic city for one, and there are a lot of different central plazas, a lot of different famous plazas that are famous for one reason or another. So it's very hard to pick which one do we go to. There's a lot of famous landmarks, a lot of famous buildings, but also the history here in Bucharest is very, very interesting. It's a very, very old region of the world. It's been inhabited, sort of like in Armenia and Georgia where we were previously. This region of the world also been inhabited for a very, very long time, going way back to the ancient Greeks and even further. So there is a lot of history here, but more recently, Romania during the period of the Cold War was a communist republic under, for the most part, or at least the most influential part, under the rule of the dictator Nicolae Ceausescu. And during Ceausescu's reign, two things happened here in Bucharest, two big things. One, in 1977, there was a huge earthquake. A lot of stuff was damaged and then had to be torn down. A lot of buildings were destroyed. And also, in the wake of that earthquake, Ceausescu undertook a huge urban redevelopment project. And it sort of left Bucharest, like I said, with a very atypical, a very interesting and atypical sort of design or layout for a city. So like I said, it's kind of hard to tell where would you go in Bucharest if you want to go to the very, very central area, because of course you can go down here into Old Town if you want to. If you were to go north from here, maybe up that street, which is Calais Victory Street. If you were to go north up that street for, 3 or 4 blocks, you would be in Revolution Square, where actually Ceausescu made his infamous last speech before being overthrown in the Romanian revolutions in 1989. If you were to head down south of Old Town, in that direction, you would end up over in the Civica Centrul, Piața Unirii, Union Plaza, and that's a very interesting area of the city, a very iconic area of the city as well. But I think today, it's best we check out Old Town. It's a very nice day. It's pretty warm out. We are here in the summer. It was very, very hot where we just were in Armenia, and I have a feeling it's going to be very hot here in Romania as well while we are here. But we will still venture out onto the streets and see what we can see. Now, Old Town over here, of course, the old part of Bucharest. Lots of pedestrianized cobblestone streets, which we love. A pedestrian street. This neighborhood used to be a lot larger, and like I said, during the urban redevelopment era in the 1970s, lots of it was torn down to make way for the Civica Centrul, the Central Civic Center neighborhood. And actually, Ceausescu, like I said, had a very large impact on the country and its development. And we're going to make a whole video about Ceausescu for sure. You can see here, church is getting out. We're actually here on a Sunday. We're going to make a whole video about Ceausescu, because he's definitely someone that you have to talk about when you're talking about Romanian history. For better or for worse, he made a very, very large impact on Romanian history. Let's see, where should we go here? I think we wander down this street a little ways, try and find our way into like the pedestrian streets of Old Town. Over the thousands of years that people have settled in this region of the world, there's been a lot of different influences for here in Romania. Romania sits like right in the center of many different empires over the years. It's very similar in a lot of ways to Georgia and Armenia, where we were previously, in that it's been ruled, this land, by many different empires. The Roman Empire was here. It's the holdover of the Romanian language from when the Romans were here. Waves of different nomadic civilizations made their way through here. The Ottoman Empire eventually ruled this area, and eventually, after independence from the Ottoman Empire, Romania was the kingdom of Romania. Up until 1949, the communist takeover here in Romania. Here we are in Old Town. Old Town, very famous neighborhood here, Old Town. It's a famous neighborhood for restaurants, bars, nightlife. And as you can see, pedestrianized, all closed off. Very cool place to come, walk around on a nice day like today. Maybe get something to eat or something to drink. Because of that history in Romania, that long history, like I said, there's a lot of different influences on Romanian history, Romanian culture, from Roman influence, from the Roman Empire, Turkic influence, Slavic influence. It's very interesting. Romania, like I mentioned, the language, Romanian language, is a holdover. It's a holdover from Latin, from when the Romans were here. And it's actually a Romance language surrounded by Slavic languages. Romanian is a Romance language like French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and yet on all sides it is surrounded by Slavic languages like Bulgarian, Serbian, Ukrainian. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting region of the world, right here on the coast of the Black Sea, where we've actually been. We've been sort of doing a little trip around the Black Sea here, honestly. We've been to Georgia, on the eastern coast of the Black Sea, and now we're here in Romania on the western coast of the Black Sea. Now, Bucharest itself is not on the sea. Bucharest is the capital city is inland, actually down south, the southern part of the country, near Bulgaria. Still a very interesting region of the world to be visiting, and I'm excited to see a lot of things here in in Bucharest. Like I mentioned, a huge city. Bucharest is a giant city. And Romania, a very large country. Like a pretty significant population in Romania, much bigger than Georgia and Armenia, where we were previously. So yes, just a much bigger city, a much larger capital here. Here we are at, I think, a metro stop. Are we at a metro stop? No, this is just a passage going under. You know what? Let's go under here. I was going to walk around in Old Town, the rest of Old Town neighborhood, which of course is back up through here. But I don't know. I can't resist a passage, an underground passage that I'm not sure exactly where it leads. So let's check it out. Passajul Latin. So there's a lot of interesting things to see here in Bucharest. We're definitely not here long enough to see even a fraction of the cool things there are to see here in Bucharest. It's one of the things that I initially on this trip, when we started our trip way back, November of 2023, and we started our trip in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Also a giant capital city, huge city. Of a pretty large country. It was something that I realized I'm not going to be able to see nearly, like a fraction of all the things there are to see, even just in this city, much less the whole country. So you see what you can see, and hopefully at some point we'll be able to come back here to Romania. We'll come back to Bucharest, and we'll be able to see some of the other things that we weren't able to see, or that we're not going to be able to see here on our trip and our relatively short stay here in Bucharest. Where has this tunnel taken us? It's taken us to a tram line, apparently, and a statue of Constantine Brancovianu. And an interesting church over there. Eastern Orthodox church, it looks like. Interesting. Let's go over there and see, since we are here on a Sunday. I don't want to interrupt if there's like a mass going on at the church. Maybe we can go, well, I guess we don't go over there, we go over here. If we go over here, maybe we can, I don't know, maybe we can look inside this church. It'd be interesting to see. Beautiful church there, which I didn't feel comfortable filming in, but I took a few pictures. We'll walk back up here. Just over there is University Square where we started. And if we keep going up, there's another piazza, Piazza Romaina. Looks like there's a botanical garden in there. There's this cool ass building, Accademia de Stinte Medicale din Romania. Medical Academy. I don't know if it's still that thing. This is the thing is there. Let's see what it is. Spitalul. Oh, I think it's a hospital. Medical hospital clinic in an amazing building. Look at this. Beautiful. I've walked around a little bit around Bucharest so far, and the architecture, especially for a city where there was like an earthquake and a lot of buildings were destroyed, and then there was the 1970s urban redevelopment where a lot of buildings were further destroyed. It's amazing the amount of like really cool preserved architecture that there is right next to that hospital. This cool old church. And of course, Old Town, where we started out with the super narrow streets, that's actually like pretty rare, I think, in Bucharest. I think a lot of Bucharest is these kinds of big, wide avenues. I'm sure there are little neighborhoods tucked in everywhere. It's such a huge city. But as I've walked around before I started filming this video, and for the first maybe day or two that I've been here, there have been, I've seen big, wide avenues like this. It's a very cool city. I think because of a lot of the different influences that we've had, there have been on Bucharest, it has a very it's a very unique city. Pretty much unlike any other major European capital. Here we are at the University metro stop here, which we can go down this way, but I think in order to get to the other side of the street, we would have to actually pay to use the metro, so let's not do that. Let's go this way and keep walking. So Romania also should be noted is a member of the European Union. It is in the Schengen zone. In fact, this is not counting a layover that we had in the airport in Athens on our way here in Greece. This is the first of the Schengen zone countries that we are visiting on our trip here, which means that when we entered, Greece actually, when we entered through migration, like immigration in Greece, we entered the Schengen zone, and now, if we wanted to, we could spend up to 90 days going to any of the different Schengen zone countries. Here we have another very cool old building. What is this? The Minister of Agriculture. This is wild. Another pretty cool looking old building on the corner here. Very beautiful city, honestly. Very beautiful city walking around. But because, like I mentioned, Romania is part of the Schengen zone of the European Union, we didn't have to go through immigrations, interestingly enough. We went through it in Greece, but then we landed in Bucharest, in Romania. No migration. Just got off the plane, went right out to the front of the airport and got a taxi. Man, our trip from Armenia to here, it was supposed to be simple, but it ended up being a lot more complicated. Nothing near as long and complicated as the 45-hour trip that we took from Puebla in Mexico to Tbilisi in Georgia a couple months back. Link to that video in the description if you want to watch my suffering. We ended up leaving Armenia. We had to check out of the Airbnb in Armenia in the like around noon, and then went to the airport, but our flight wasn't leaving until I don't know, it's supposed to be like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. And then we were supposed to get in to Athens and then make a short connection in Athens, which would then put us on a flight to land here in Bucharest in the morning, like around, I don't know, 9 in the morning or something like that. The flight out of Armenia was delayed, and so we ended up missing our connecting flight in Athens. And after having sat at the airport in Yerevan in Armenia for like, I don't know, 8 hours or something, waiting for our flight from there, we had to spend a whole day in the Athens airport, basically like 12 hours or so, just hanging out in Athens waiting for the next flight, which we caught out at like, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night, something like that, coming to Bucharest. Didn't arrive here in Bucharest until like, I don't know, it's like 10 o'clock at night. Got to the Airbnb, fell out just immediately, went to sleep. Got there like 11 o'clock, midnight, something like that. Definitely not the most enjoyable of all the trips that we've taken so far, and definitely one of the longer periods of like layovers and waiting, hanging around in airports. So while I'm here in Bucharest, in addition to, of course, learning about a little bit more about the Ceausescu era, and also just like more history of the city of Bucharest, also just sort of walking around, seeing the sights in different neighborhoods. One thing I'd really like to do, because I'm not really familiar with it, is I'd like to check out some Romanian food. There's actually a place that I've heard of. It's a market that is, I'm not sure exactly where it is in the city. It's called Obor Market, or Piazza Obor, which I think is like a big open air market. And I think there we'll be able to get some, I don't know, some sort of a typical popular Romanian food. Be interested to check it out, because I'm unfamiliar actually with Romanian food. So that'll be something. And there's going to be plenty of other things that we do here in Bucharest. Like I said, it's a huge city. There's tons of things to do here. We're really only going to be able to scratch the surface in the time that we're here. So I think, let's see, I could wander around these streets, honestly, in this area of the city for like hours. But this video has to end at some point. So I think we're going to end it here. And like I said, plenty more coming from here in Bucharest. I'm excited to be here. I'm not super excited that it's going to be really hot while we're here, I'm pretty sure. I looked at the extended weather forecast, and it looks like the heat, well, we're not going to be able to avoid the heat, which, of course, we're here in the summer, so obviously it's going to be hot. But after the scorching stay that we just had in Yerevan, Armenia, I was hoping for a little bit of a reprieve here in Bucharest, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. Regardless, we're still going to see a lot of things, do a lot of things, potentially eat some things that are really cool and interesting here in Bucharest, in Romania. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to wander around a little bit more off camera. But like I said, more coming. Stay tuned for that. We'll see you in the next one.